Hello and welcome to the third week of the breakdown and build up of Thread the Needle. Now today is going to be taking last week's practice, which was done in standing, and marrying it with next week's practice, which will be the more traditional hands and knees version of this movement. How we're going to do that is we're going to be using a chair again, and we are going to be standing, hinging at the hips and putting our hands flat on the seat. Now, while this is still a easier version of this movement, there is going to be a lot more load on your arms, right? Your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, your shoulder blades. So this is where it's going to start to become even more important that you listen to your body and pace yourself, and you don't take this too far if things are feeling kind of uncomfortable. We don't want to push things beyond their current capacity. So there might be parts of this at the beginning where we've got two arms going at the same time where you're fine. But if the one arm stuff starts to feel like it's a bit too much, I would really encourage you to just keep working with that one armed stuff in standing against the wall like we did last week. But anyways, beyond that, all that we need for today is a chair on a non-slip surface, and we can get started. All right, so like I mentioned, today we're going to be standing in front of a chair with our feet hip width apart. We're going to hinge at the hips and bring our hands to the seat of the chair. All right, so finding that nice tabletop back and just checking in to make sure that you've got full contact along your palms, fingers. You're not dumping your weight into your wrists. Your elbows are straight but not locked and hyperextended, and you're feeling nice and solid through those shoulder blades on your rib cage. We're going to start off by warming up with our scapular push-ups. So keeping that neutral spine and neck nice and straight with the spine, we're going to start to let all that lower towards the seat of the chair by letting the shoulder blades move towards each other and the spine, and then nice and controlled pushing away so that the shoulder blades move away from the spine and your chest moves away from the seat of the chair. You can take your breathing rate and follow that as you rise and lower out of this movement, but just take it really nice and slow. Make sure that you're in control of that movement, not in a bracing kind of way or breath holding way, but just your body is doing what your brain is telling it to do. What you're trying to do is matching what is actually happening. Okay? Now let's play with a bit of an elbow bend. All right? You're not going to go very far. It's just a little bit of an elbow bend, a little bit of a tip of the head towards the seat of the chair. Again, keeping that neutral spine. Feeling that stability through your upper back and shoulder blades. The movement coming from the elbows. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we are going to come to one hand at a time. We're going to keep our chest square with the seat, and we're going to revisit that scapular push-up, but just on one arm. This is where you might start to notice that things are getting much more challenging. You're going to really feel that extra load by being in this position because it's all on one arm. And this might be enough for you. This might even be more than you want, and maybe you go back to doing this at the wall. We're now going to try bending the elbow. And again, it's just a tiny bend right now. It doesn't need to be big at all. Just teeny, teeny, tiny. Okay, one more. Okay, and you can bring that left hand back to the seat. We're going to lift the right hand, keeping all that integrity through the left arm. We're going to visit that scapular push-up so the chest moves closer to and away from the seat of the chair as the blade moves closer to the spine and further away from the spine. And again, this is going to feel much more intense on just one arm when our body weight is directly over that hand. Okay, we can try the elbow bend one. Teeny tiny bend. All right, one more. And and come back up. Both hands can come here to the seat. You can sit down for a sec if you want to just give your shoulders a little bit of a break as I explain what we're going to do next. Next, we're going to start to visit more of the actual thread the needle movement, but without the moving arm, because I really want you to focus on having that support arm out, pushing away, and then rotating your chest away from it, all while there's this bigger load over your arm. And then also letting the chest twist towards the supporting arm without it feeling really compressy, okay? So creating that space is going to be really important to make this just feel a little more comfortable, especially if you have a history of some shoulder injury or tension or tweakiness that's been happening lately, right? We want to keep things spacious. So when you're ready, we can get back into position, our nice hands and knees at the chair position. We're going to come back to our right arm. We're going to push away, creating space in that joint, and then start to lift the chest just a little bit towards the corner of the room. Bring it back down. We can let the chest come down towards the supporting arm. Come back through center, pushing away, twisting. Okay, and just be honest with yourself as you do this. Do you feel like you have control over this? Is this accessible to you right now? If it's not, that's totally fine. Just go back to the wall. You're going to get the exact same practice in with just a little less weight over that arm, okay? We're going to switch sides if maybe you haven't bailed on me and already done that. Okay, so pushing away with that left hand, twisting the chest away from you a little bit, and then coming down and letting the chest move towards that supporting arm. And then again, you can come away, really just trying to create that space in the joint. This, I think, is the most complicated component of this movement. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of very specific movement, and it's loaded that, you know, this could be where if someone was having shoulder issues and kept hurting themselves in a yoga class and this position pose was a movement they did, I'd want to really look at how they're managing this movement, okay? So now we're going to add the arms in. So we're going to come back to our right hand supporting us. We're going to inhale the left arm parallel to the floor. Exhale as we push away and then come back down. Inhale the right arm parallel to the floor. Exhale as we push away, twisting, and come back down. Now, you could do the actual thread the needle part in here, but that's going to be a really big stretch on your hamstrings. You could bend your knees. Okay, so we could let our right hand support us. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale as we twist. Inhale, let the knees bend and thread the needle through. I just find that being and standing with the chair, it's a little awkward. So we can just practice the inhale, the arm up, exhale to twist, inhale, maybe thread the arm in that direction, but then we just come straight back out of it. Inhale the left arm up, exhale, twisting, inhale, threading that left arm through just for a moment as that right elbow bends, and then bring it back to the seat. And one more time on the right. Let's just do this one more time. Inhale the right arm up, exhale as you twist through your spine. Inhale, threading the needle through just for a moment as you bend that left elbow, and then exhale as you bring your hand back to the seat. All right, so that was the practice for today. Hopefully you're starting to really get an appreciation for how complicated this movement kind of is around the shoulder, the supporting shoulder, and then how much more complex it becomes as we add more load. So like I said, make sure that you're not moving into pain. If you feel unsteady or shaky or just in any way like it's too much, take it back to the wall. Go back to last week's practice, do the one-arm stuff at the wall, try the two-armed stuff here if you want to. But otherwise, if today's practice went fine for you, next week we're going to be on the mat, on all fours, hands and knees. So I will see you then.